Greetings, my good bitches. The name's Francis, Francis. I'm an editor, Twitch streamer, drag artist, and I'm here because I'm trying to subverso your expectations. A few months ago, I decided to stick to what I'm good at and rank the worst wigs in cinema history. And a lot of you requested a follow-up where I would rank the worst makeup in cinema history. Now, believe it or not, I am not as knowledgeable in that area as you may assume. And why wouldn't you? My face is beat for the gods at least once a week. I know this, you know this, but that's about where my skill set ends. I am absolutely awesome at doing exactly this. I've only put other people in drag a handful of times, and you know what I did with them? Exactly what I do here. And special effects makeup? Everything I know about that came from binging Face Off during my college years. So just to clear up any confusion, I am not the well-rounded, well-versoed makeup artist you might think I am. I can't promise I'll stop with the verso puns, but I'll do my best. So who am I to sit here in my air-conditioned ivory tower and judge the people absolutely busting their asses on film sets as they spend up to 90% of the production day putting actors into prosthetics that are so insane that you couldn't even possibly conceive of them yourself? I grow more arrogant by the day, but I could never criticize that kind of artistry. But the examples we'll be looking at today are, super not that. And let's be real, I know when shit looks good, and I pay for this air-conditioned ivory tower by making fun of shit. So with that, join me for a shameless sequel where I rank the worst makeup in cinema history. But before we get into it, a brief word from our sponsor and our very handsome host. We currently live in an age where if you overdraft your bank account, you'll somehow still incur more charges. Meaning, banks will charge you more money even though you quite literally don't have any. Somebody, please make it make sense. But if this has ever happened to you, if you've had a payment bounce or your account went negative at the worst possible time, Chime's got your back. Chime is an award-winning financial app and debit card that millions of Americans use to manage, save, or spend their money. They partner with banks to deliver member-first products and provide a checking account, a secured credit card, and savings tools that are easy to use and totally transparent. Thanks to their special feature Spot Me, Chime offers fee-free overdraft on up to $200 on debit card purchases and cash withdrawals for eligible members. So, for those times when you accidentally overdraft or need a quick spot, Spot Me is there to help you cover what you need, and then you pay it back later. No stress, no pressure, and no questions asked. Chime also has plenty of other features to help you manage your money better, including My Pay to access funds between paychecks, and a credit builder with no annual fees or interest. You can open your account in minutes by clicking the link in the description box below, or by scanning the handy-dandy QR code right next to my very handsome face. And now, back to our regularly scheduled programming. First category is, I can fix her. Again, I am not a movie makeup expert, but these are examples where, as a very strange man once said,
if I was on that plane with my kids, it wouldn't have went down like it did.
Next category is, age is just a huge challenge, apparently. SFX artists can turn actors into entire otherworldly beings, and yet, making them merely look like an older version of themselves somehow remains a mystery. Our middle category is, yes, Miss Girl, give us nothing. Pretty self-explanatory. These are examples that are either extremely underwhelming or just doomed from the start, and nothing is more terrifying than mediocrity. Next to last category is, what in the caucasity? The wildest part of this one is that not all the examples of race swapping came from Code era films. And finally, we have new sleep paralysis demon just dropped. These examples are like the exact opposite of the weirdly hot sleep paralysis demon you can romance and date everything. First up, whoo boy, what an entry to kick this list off with. This is Jim Sturgis, James Darcy, and Hugo Weaving in Yellowface for a segment in Cloud Atlas. Horrifying on sight, but here's some context if I may. So Cloud Atlas is 6 stories that follows different people in different countries and cultures during different time periods. But all of the characters are played by the same actors throughout, which implies a sort of like reincarnation theme. It's definitely a love or hate kind of movie, but credit where credit is due. It'll be a while till we see another blockbuster movie that's this experimental ever again. Some of the makeup effects are in goddamn sane, and sometimes also highly problematic. See this guy right here? This is Halle Berry. I'm gonna repeat myself because I don't think you heard me the first time. This is Halle Berry. This was my crush when I was 10 years old, dude. I do get what they were going for thematically by transforming all of these same actors, but the end result for the race swapping ones just feels so icky. And for what? So these 3 divas could look like Romulans instead of Korean people? Now, the characters that Sturgis and Darcy and Weaving play are not meant to be caricatures or a mockery of Asian people in any way, but the prosthetics are so bad that they end up just being racist regardless. It should also be noted that it wasn't just white actors who were race swapped. Halle Berry and Joe Shewan and a bunch of other actors played differently raced characters throughout each of these segments as well. But unless you're completely Charlie Kirk pilled, we all know that this isn't comparable to Yellowface, which has deep-seated roots in Hollywood's history of racism and discrimination towards Asian people. I'm actually kind of fascinated by the discourse around this movie because there's really nothing else like it to compare it to. But I will end this section by saying Yellowface is wrong and it's racist in any context, okay? Sorry, not sorry. What in the caucasity were they thinking? If you saw my worst wigs video, you probably already knew that this king would make a return in the sequel. We have none other than Carlisle Cullen from Twilight, and I know I'm a little late on this, but psst, Twilight makeup artists, and my fellow good bitches with a ghostly pallor. Write this down, guys, okay? Listen, NYX Can't Stop, Won't Stop foundation and concealer in the shade Pale. It will look both white and natural on camera and in person. Stop with the spirit grease paint. You're professionals, goddammit. And for the love of all that exists on God's green battlefield Earth, blend! Yes, that includes the neck and all of the ears. I know for a fact I could have fixed this semi-hot dad. Bet I could have fixed his makeup too. Next up, just when I thought I couldn't be even more scared to look at Jared Leto, here he is in Mr. Nobody, and here's my mini conspiracy theory about this abomination, if I may. I'll bet that the original prosthetic that was made for Mr. Leto was fine. Maybe not amazing or groundbreaking, but at the very least would make him look human. But it wasn't enough for an actor who could bring a deep, complex character like Mark David Chapman to life. See, Leto is the bitch that wants, nay, needs the whole world to see just how much effort he puts into every role. It's something you'll see a lot of A-list actors do. Coincidentally, it's always straight white men who do this. But Leto really takes it to a whole other level in the most insufferable ways imaginable. He didn't give himself gout by eating ice cream with soy sauce just for some garden variety makeup artist to put a normal looking prosthetic on him. This is all conjecture, of course, but let's be real. It's the most plausible explanation for why he looks like one of Jeff Dunham's puppets. Babe, wake up. New sleep paralysis demon just dropped. Here's an interesting case. This is Joseph Gordon-Levitt as Joe in Looper. Remember when this guy was in everything the way Pedro Pascal is now? If you're wondering why he looks absolutely nothing like Joseph Gordon-Levitt in one of the most famous Joseph Gordon-Levitt movies, it's because he was supposed to look like a younger version of Bruce Willis's character. Allegedly, Bruce Willis refused to undergo a makeup transformation to look like Joseph Gordon-Levitt, which meant that our early 2010s king had to draw the short straw for the makeup chair. And then he ultimately still still looked nothing like Bruce Willis at all. So the only takeaway for most viewers was, why does Joseph Gordon-Levitt look so goddamn weird in this movie? Age is just a huge challenge, apparently. Next up, oh, you knew I was gonna include this one. We've got Jennifer Lawrence as Mystique in Dark Phoenix. Now, in X-Men First Class, Miss Lawrence had a midnight call time with shooting beginning at 9 a.m. That's because it took the makeup team 9 hours to apply all of the body paint and prosthetics on her. Some people have said that the reason they stopped doing this was because she was just tired of having to be there for 9 hours. Other people have said that there was an allergic reaction or something that she had to the makeup, in which case, yikes, sis. So it's no wonder that they switched to a bodysuit and different makeup. Now, I am all for different aesthetic and character interpretations of comic book characters across films. I've said over and over again that comics are like Shakespeare because they're ingrained enough into the cultural zeitgeist that new interpretations of them can take certain creative liberties. I'm all for a version of Mystique where her skin looks more like skin rather than a bucket of paint, but there's gotta be like a halfway point between these two divas, right? Because now it's giving
Let's go! Our faces are painted.
There's also the added irony of Jennifer Lawrence's Mystique becoming more accepting of her mutant self across those films, all while her mutant self gets less and less screen time with each subsequent movie.
And by the way, the women are always saving the men around here. You might want to think about changing the name to X-Women.
Maybe that's why she kicked the bucket in Dark Phoenix. Is that a spoiler? Does it matter? That movie was balls, okay? But before that, yes, Miss Girl, give us nothing. Finally, a Bette Midler movie you can skip without getting your gay card revoked. Did she win a Golden Globe for her portrayal of Dixie Leonard? Or did she win an award for not laughing every time the makeup team made her look like this? And no, this was not meant to be comedic. Most of the movie is told in flashbacks, which means this is technically her factory default for the story's canon. It's kind of giving Frank Reynolds when he hosted that child beauty pageant. You're gonna give her Cyndi Lauper eyeshadow, you're gonna give her Mrs. Doubtfire hair, and you're gonna give her Whoopi Goldberg eyebrows? Or lack thereof? That said, I think I could fix her. How? Oh, I don't know. Make her look less, scared? Oh, we got another classic and another returning champion from our worst wigs video. It is none other than John Wayne as Genghis Khan in The Conqueror. When John Wayne wasn't blacklisting his friends and colleagues as a HUAC investigator, he was in this, and a lot of other movies, but mostly this one. Apparently, Wayne begged Dick Powell for this role, which had originally been written for Marlon Brando, who I think we can safely say dodged a hell of a bullet with this one. And Wayne reportedly deeply regretted taking the role later in life. I mentioned this last time, but this movie was actually cancer-inducing. No, but really, they filmed near a nuclear testing site, and 41% of the cast and crew literally got cancer from it, and 21% died from that cancer, including John Wayne. So not only did this movie kill John Wayne, it also killed his career after The Conqueror went down in history as one of the worst movies ever made. And not just because of the horrifying slant eye prosthetics, or the Fu Manchu mustache, or the dead rat they put on his head. Truly, what in the caucasity am I looking at here? Next up, a personal favorite. We've got none other than Fan4stic's rendition of Dr. Doom. So, I'm not sure if you guys know this about me, but I am obsessed with Fan4stic from 2015. In the same way that I'm obsessed with Megalopolis. It truly is an example of how I would rather watch a movie that I absolutely hate but think about all the time rather than watch a mid-movie that I forget about. And let me tell you, this scene has been living rent-free in my head for a decade.
I think that the four of us should have a name.
Why would we need a name?
Because we're a team now, and there's four of us, so we should come up with a name for it.
The Human Torch and the Torchettes.
How about the big brain and his neurons?
How about the big brain and her neurons?
How about two guys, a girl, and the thing that nobody wanted?
Gotta say, it's fantastic.
Say that again?
Are you not entertained? I also want to use this section to apologize for not bringing up Kate Mara's reshoot wig in my worst wigs video. I felt especially dumb for not including it considering I think about this movie all the time. Anywho, I asked my partner for his opinion on this one since Dr. Doom is one of his favorite characters of all time. And since he hates being on camera, here is his written statement. Dude looks like how green runts taste. Where did the guy find a black trash bag to make into a cloak? Apparently they were gonna call him Victor Doomshev or something and had to ADR everyone saying Victor Von Doom after the fact. Yikes. There's an Akira-style turn guys into paste that coats this hallway scene with Dr. Doom, and that somehow makes this movie worse. Didn't think it was possible. Great job, everyone. Anyway, new sleep paralysis demon just dropped. Next up, one of the more famous examples of bad old age makeup on Leo DiCaprio as J. Edgar in the movie. J. Edgar. Armie Hammer's old age makeup wasn't looking so hot either, especially with this Homer Simpson-ass mouth prosthetic. I also saw a lot of apologists for the old age makeup in this movie, Hammer being one of them. I don't know, guys. Did J. Edgar Hoover also look like Jiminy Glick doing a Jack Nicholson impression? Did he also gel his eyebrows upwards like a JoJo's villain? A quick Google search proves otherwise. Age really is just a huge challenge, apparently. We, of course, have another Twilight entry with Jane from Breaking Dawn. Okay, come through, baby bat Francis, learning how to use pencil liner for the first time. Haven't seen you in forever. How's middle school going? Don't answer that. They at least put some mascara on her in this high-budget blockbuster picture, and they also bothered to put foundation on her neck and ears, but girl. There are some other scenes that Jane's in where she's got a nice smoky eye going, but this look really is giving how I did my makeup in middle school. Black pencil liner, CoverGirl powder, and nothing else. So since I lived it myself, I could definitely fix her. Well, when one bullet is dodged, another... oh god. I can see why Marlon Brando turned down playing Genghis Khan after already having done brownface in Viva Zapata. I briefly brought this up in an older video because at the time I could not get over the fact that Viva Zapata was the favorite movie of not one, but two former presidential candidates, John McCain and George H.W. Bush. Bush's Zapata Corporation got its name from this movie. And it's just like, really, out of all the movies this guy has been in, out of all the Elia Kazan movies, this is the one you pick. This is the one you're running with. Okay, and the brown face wasn't even worth it because the movie is still bad. God damn it, he looks ridiculous. I don't have to get into why. All I want to know is what in the caucasity is going on here. I mean, short answer, it was the early 50s and that's just what you did back then. Next up, one of the dumbest parts of one of the dumbest endings of one of the now dumbest franchises in history, and that's coming from a former fan. We've got Mom and Dad, Harry, Ron, and Hermione at the end of Deathly Hallows Part 2. We don't have time to get into how Joanne wrote a series ending that makes the Game of Thrones finale look like Breaking Bad's finale, but we do have time to talk about the fact that these three are canonically assumed to be 36 years old. Girl, I am almost there. Granted, considering where I live, I will probably age 10 years by 2026. And these were the improved versions of their makeup. Check out the handiwork before the reshoots.
What in the shitting hell is going on here?
I guess this would technically land in age is just a huge challenge, apparently. But my actual reaction to this scene in general was, yes, Miss Girl, give us nothing. Next up, we've got Prune Face from Dick Tracy. No. Wait, that can't be right. The makeup in that was great. My apologies. This is not Prune Face from Dick Tracy. This is older Peter Wayland in Prometheus. Because Guy Pearce spending 6 hours in the makeup chair for this was a far better alternative than just getting an older guy to play his older self. It simply wouldn't work. There was no other way to age this character besides putting Dr. Evil in a hot tub for 3 weeks. I'm I'm not saying 104 years can't look rough, but if this was the intended result, why not just put Guy Pearce in the hyperbaric chamber from Deadpool? Babe, wake up! New sleep paralysis demon just dropped. This next one, I nearly slapped myself for almost forgetting. Shout out to Mitchell for reminding me of this absolute classic. We've got none other than Evan Hansen from the movie Dear Evan Hansen. So Ben Platt was the only original Broadway cast member to reprise his role in the film version. And sometimes you forget just how different of an art form theater is compared to film. You can age people up and down a lot more freely in theater because there's this special kind of suspension of disbelief that everyone just kind of assumes when they walk into a live show. There's also certain suspensions of disbelief you need when watching a movie, but it needs to be convincing and immersive. Here's an example. Tobias in Sweeney Todd is a child, but he's usually played by an adult in stage versions. In the film version, he is played by an actual child, because imagine just how f***ing awkward it would be to see an adult playing that role in a movie. Movies are, of course, no strangers to casting people in their 20s to play high schoolers, because what better way to work around child labor laws? And trust, making production schedules that have to take kids into account is a pain in the ass. I know this from experience. So when they cast the then 27-year-old Ben Platt to play somebody 10 years younger, it was a bit of a stretch considering he was nearing his late 20s, but it wasn't entirely out of the ordinary. What was out of the ordinary was their weird hyperfixation on trying really hard to make him look younger, both with de-aging makeup that's heavier than mine and with CGI. The end result was him looking like a PTA president who's constantly worried over brownie sales for each quarter. It's like how in middle school when kids wouldn't shower after PE and would instead just drench themselves in Axe or Victoria's Secret body spray. It's a very visceral feeling for me. I was in middle school during the height of the Axe craze that was literally people. Anyway, age is just a major challenge, apparently. Next up, we've got Meryl Streep as Lindy Chamberlain in Cry in the Dark. For those of you who don't know, this movie is about the dingo took my baby person, and I just realized that a good portion of my viewers are too young to know about that reference. I super do not have time to get into it, and I'll probably get demonetized for even going into any kind of details. So, if you're curious, look up Lindy Chamberlain and her whole deal. Now, this makeup. I can't exactly place why it unsettles me so much. They actually nailed the wig here. It is just as horrifying as the real thing. I think they really wanted to put her away for that hair, but they needed like more solid grounds to do so. Maybe I'm just being a drama queen, but she looks so uncanny valley here. But I think I could fix her by not putting the same amount of blush and foundation on her as I have on today, maybe. Here's a spicy one. This is Ramses in Exodus Gods and Kings, an Egyptian pharaoh played by Joel Edgerton? Wait, this has gotta be from like the 60s, right? Like there's no way they'd put all these white people into brown face in the year, 2014? Hold up.
Hold up!
Okay, so the main characters are white people cosplaying as brown people. Got it. There are black people in this movie, but they're all like servants and thieves. Okay, got it. Okay. Well, Ridley Scott, care to explain any of this? I can't mount a film of this budget where I have to rely on tax rebates in Spain and say that my lead actor is Mohammed so-and-so from such and such. I'm just not going to get it financed, so the question doesn't even come up. Holy shit, that was so much worse than I could have expected. I felt gross for even reading that. But hey, there's still some diversity here. Exodus Gods and Kings still boasts a varied cast of British, American, and Australian actors. It's giving that meme of the history book pharaoh that looks like Anthony Starr. Anyway, back to Joel Edgerton, who in my humble opinion looks the silliest. He is wearing the traditional kohl eyeliner, but because he's white, he just looks like JD Vance with a shaved head. Can somebody please explain to me what in the caucasity am I looking at here? Next up, oh god damn it. This is one of the first examples I thought of for this video. This is also Marlon Brando, but as Dr. Moreau in the movie that supposedly takes place on his island. I am scared to look at this picture. People in my Discord have threatened me with this image when I'm being too much of a simp about something. I am legitimately dreading having to look at it when I edit this video this week. Obligatory look how they massacred my boy comment here. There's also an insane amount of lore surrounding this movie. It's simultaneously the most hilarious and the most tragic production story I've probably ever heard. Highly recommend it if you're like me and hyperfixate on Hollywood lore and trivia. I don't want to spoil anything so that you can witness this magnificent dumpster fire for yourselves. This might be the worst sleep paralysis demon of them all. This next one is so bad it didn't even make it into the final movie. Just kidding, that's not why it actually happened. But this is an aging Sarah Connor in a deleted epilogue from Terminator 2. There's a lot to behold in this alternate ending that takes place in 2027, including knowing that 2 years from now, early 90s fashion will be fully back in swing. Some would even argue that this is the true good ending of Terminator 2. But as you know, we live in an alternate timeline where we are trapped in an absolute capitalist hellscape that we have no hope of ever escaping from, as we watch every new movie or show become a reboot that just has meaningless identity politics and gradually see the humanity stripped away from the very art of filmmaking, because the people who run this industry are not actually human and therefore do not see the difference between art made by people versus AI. And I'm sorry. Sorry, got carried away there. Anyway, where were we? Sarah Connor's makeup. Sorry. I'm not sure why so many people think old age makeup equals Homer Simpson mouth, but boy, is this terrifying to look at. Age is just a huge challenge, apparently. Next up, God, this one infuriates me to my core as a drag queen and a professional one at that. What are we doing here, guys? This is Melissa McCarthy's rendition of one of the most iconic Disney villains of all time. And this is not conjecture. The artists have stated outright that their main inspiration for Ursula's design was divine, the drag queen of all drag queens. The first cool and truly edgy drag queen, arguably. A historical figure who is one of the reasons why I do what I do now. Ursula is a fantastic tribute to Divine's aesthetic and character, and the inspiration is undeniable. Though I wasn't thrilled with the idea of yet another live-action Disney remake, I was looking forward to seeing how they would bring Ursula to life in the live-action Little Mermaid. There's been a lot of discourse over how Disney is dropping gay and trans representation now that it's not as popular or profitable as it used to be. They definitely stopped hiring gay people, didn't they? What happened, guys? Did Ron DeSantis do this? Are you kidding me, dude? Couldn't even be bothered to put the beauty mark on her, at least? I could have beat this bitch for the gods. How, you ask? Oh, I don't know. Actually give her the divine pencil brows rather than this pair of moldy talkies? Make them even? Put any eyeshadow under the eyes? Make sure that the lashes are 1, glued down properly, and 2, positioned at an angle so that the eye doesn't look droopy. See, this is why some gay stereotypes need to be perpetuated. Coming up on our last few entries here. Here is Johnny Depp as Whitey Bulger in the movie Black Mass. Oh look, Joel Edgerton's in this one too. This one isn't so much bad as it is Sisyphean. The two dudes look nothing alike. They do not share a single facial feature. So there was nothing for the artists to even go off of in the first place. It's not like, oh, they share a nose or they share lips or cheekbones or whatever the fuck. So like there was definitely an effort here, but the end result just looks so silly in my opinion. I almost feel bad for the makeup artists in this situation, but they probably make more money than me, so I think this is a yes, Miss Girl, give us nothing. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for, the final entry in the worst makeup in cinema history. Isn't even fair for me to include this one. I feel a moral obligation to both show it and to not show it. Nostalgia heads and film history bros sure love to gloss over this part of Breakfast at Tiffany's, but I sure never forgot Mickey Rooney as Mr. Unioshi. This is that South Park episode where Cartman is as racist as possible to Chinese people, but it's not done in the context of satire or making the point that Cartman is actually a terrible person, Charlie Kirk. This is just what passed for comedy in 1961. And it wasn't until the 90s that people were finally like, hey, this is pretty messed up, actually. Again, it almost feels unfair including this in this list because it's such an exceptional example. But then I did my research and I found out that producer Richard Shepard had actually wanted to cast a Japanese person for this role. Would it still have been super problematic? Probably. But director Blake Edwards managed to overrule him, which meant that the makeup team had to go through the process of making the mouthpiece and the prosthetics, and then spend, I'm guessing, hours applying it to Mickey Rooney, and the whole time everyone was like, yeah, this is fine. I'm scared to look at this picture too. I almost put it in the sleep paralysis demon category. But the real question is, my good bitches, what in the caucasity am I looking at here? I never really have a whole lot to say at the end of ranking videos, so I think I'm just gonna do affirmations from now on, if that's okay. I hope you're all doing as well as you possibly can be. I hope you have people and or animals in your life that care about you, and if you don't, well, I highly doubt that. But either way, I care about you and I appreciate you being here. You deserve to be here and you deserve to live your happiest and most authentic lives. Haters and bigots be damned. If you're not having a great time right now, I hope things get better for you. And I hope this video provided at least 30 minutes or so of levity for you. And the real ones I know got the reference, but if you haven't played Clair Obscur Expedition 33, you should definitely change that. It is my game of the year. And let's check out some winning comments of the year, or from the last video anyway. Oof Gibbs 5261 says, greatest crossover since the Jimmy Timmy Power Hour. What a throwback that was. Treaded Water says, my favorite feature of Francis's videos is the light in his eyes. I know it's just from the ring light every creator uses, but I like to imagine it's his royal soul surfacing to make us all a little gayer. Sure, that's what it is. That's totally what it is. That is absolutely totally what that is. Ren Who says, the reason there's an alt-right is because they're all jealous of Francis's sharper than a shish kebab jawline. I get a lot of compliments on my jawline, and I have to say I really appreciate that. I know I have a fierce jawline, but it's very affirming to hear you all bring that up, so thank you. You too could be featured in the next video. Leave a comment below. I will pick my favorite ones and give you a shout out next time, but if you would like to guarantee your name be featured at the end of every video, please consider joining my Patreon. If you join any of the membership tiers that are conveniently named after Fallout protagonists, your name will be featured at the end of every video. You might also get other cool stuff like access to my Discord, behind the scenes content on how I make my wigs, ad-free and uncensored versions of my videos. So if you love my content and my drag, you can support this channel directly by clicking the link to my Patreon in the description box. If you want to see me simp for my favorite game characters and get visibly frustrated in real time, please follow me on Twitch.
Sorry, but Betty can't.
I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. And if you'd like to see even more of my clown mug elsewhere, please consider following me on Instagram or Threads or Blue Sky. My handle for all of the above is at queencokefrancis. If you enjoyed this video and you haven't done so already, please spend 11 hours of a 12-hour day in a makeup chair, and when you finally announce that you're ready for your close-up, make cinema history by going ahead and unzipping your pants and dick slapping those like and subscribe buttons as hard as you can. Thank you again to Chime for sponsoring this video, and thank you to all my patrons and subscribers who keep this channel going. And, of course, as always, until next time,